Hi, my name's Amy and I make things, and in today's video I'm making some waves with some unpopular opinions. Hang around, let's see what happens. Hey guys, we all have our favorite quilting tools, the things we go to every single time, things we would run out and repurchase if they got broken or lost. But I don't want to talk about my favorite tools. I want to talk about 5 tools that every quilter seems to absolutely love, except me. These are not my favorites, and I'm going to tell you why. Number 1, and I'm going to take some heat for this, pun completely intended, is a wool pressing mat. They're great. They're fantastic. If you have one and you love it, more power to you. I love that for you. I hated it. Hate's a strong word, but it wasn't my jam. Number 1, my cats tried to eat it all of the time. Like, all the time. Had to put it out of their reach, even though they stay closed out of my sewing room most of the time. They were going for it. Or if they weren't eating it, they wanted to lay on it, which then meant it was covered in cat hair. Not so great. Number 2, it smells like hot, wet sheet all the time. Like, all the time. I use steam when I press, so it was really gross. But even if you don't, the natural properties of wool cause it to absorb about 30% of its weight in moisture, which is one of the reasons that the wool pressing mat works so well, is you've got that tiny bit of steam. Even if you're working with a dry iron, you've got that environmental steam. But it also makes it smell, well, to me, very unpleasant. And I work with wool. I work with all kinds of wool. I'm a hand spinner, so I'm used to smelling wet wool. But this was not good. But the big thing, number 3, the big kicker of why I don't like the wool pressing mat, it attracts wool-eating bugs. Moths, carpet beetles, other wool-attracted creatures. And I have a lot of precious wool in my life. Hand-spun yarn, weaving, fiber for spinning yarn, and moths are the enemy. So the instant I saw evidence that there was critter activity, little divots in my wool mat, I get rid of it. Right in the compost bin. And so what do I use instead? Well, I use this Omni-Grid Golden Store mat. It's great for travel. It has the cutting side and the pressing side, but the pressing side is really where it's at. It's firm. It has the protective fabric that reflects heat. It's great. It's super easy. It's weighty, so it doesn't slide around on my little tray that I keep it on for pressing small in-between projects. It's fantastic. It comes in many different sizes. I'll link them below. Anything that I mention, even the things that I don't like, I'll link below. The next thing I don't use is starch or sizing. And I have it. I have it. And I get it. And the results are beautiful. There's nothing I really have against starching. I've done it before. I just can't be bothered to take the extra time. I like to move fast. I like to sew fast. I like to move on to the next thing quickly. So I just don't do it. I also don't like my fabric pre-shrunk. I like it to get that crinkly quilty goodness, that old-fashioned look when I wash and dry the quilt the first time. If you use starch and you prefer the results that you get from that, love it. Do it. Keep doing it. Please though, please, if you use starch, wear a mask, a respirator, or do it outside, especially if you're using the aerosol variety. That stuff in the air and in your lungs is not healthy. Before we get to number 3, do me a favor. If you enjoyed the video so far, click all those buttons, like, subscribe, share, ring that bell, let me know. I really appreciate that. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that button. It's free, guys. Everybody loves these. And they're fantastic. This one's called a blade saver. There are lots of different ones on the market. It's to cut your little chain pieced units apart. And clearly, I have it. It's got a blade in it. I just don't use it. I just use scissors. The scissors, I don't know if you can see, sit right here on my machine, right there. They're always there. I always put them back where they are, where they belong. I know they're always there, and it's just faster for me to do that. This I have to keep up with, or pull it out of the drawer, or pick it up off the floor because I've knocked it down when I'm sewing the next units. And like I say, they're fantastic. I just don't use it. My scissors or little snips are always just right there. And for me, that's just easier. Maybe I'm just old school, but it just works for me, so I just do what works. Tool number 4 that everybody loves that I don't. Friction pins. And no, it's not about the controversy of do they come back or will they stain your fabric or when the quilt gets cold. Guys, I live in Texas. It's really not an issue. Also, I'm not going to mark anything that would show in the first place. I don't like the way they write. I can't stand the way it drags and skips on the fabric. And clearly, I have them. I have them in every single color. But I don't use them. You know, and like I say, it's not about will they wash out, won't they wash out. You know, that's a choice you have to make. I don't like the way they write, so I don't use them. What do I use instead? A pencil. Guys, I'm super basic. I have these all over the house. Cotton Cuts keeps sending me one every month, so I use them. They're handy, they're easy, they're biodegradable. I'm super basic, guys. I do have a mechanical pencil that I love dearly, and I will link it down below. I've had it since high school. But they do still make it. And the last tool that everyone seems to use that I don't like, and I don't have one here to show you, but it's a magnetic pen keep. The bowl, the little pen dish that's a magnet, all your pens stick to it. I find that once you get all your pens piled on there, they don't stick as well as I would like them to. So every time I move it, I'm losing pens. Or they're stuck on there in such a jumble that because I won't be cautious and slow down, I end up stabbing myself and bleeding all over things, which is not good. What do I use instead? A pin cushion. I told you I'm basic. And I have a lot of them. I have this one. I have this beautiful handmade one that I won as a door prize at the last guild meeting. Gorgeous. I have several. They're all over everywhere. And they work. They always work. So those are 5 tools that everyone but me seems to love. Tell me, guys. Tell me in the comments. Are these your favorite things? Are these things you can't live without or wouldn't want to? Are they things that you don't use? Are there other tools that you see everybody else raving about that you just don't vibe with? Let me know. Let's talk about it. That's my favorite part, is chatting with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget that you make the world more beautiful just by being in it. I'm Amy, and I'll see you next time.